When a woman took an abandoned kitten off the street, she had no idea why it kept growing. But once a vet studied some x-rays, they soon discovered why. In some countries, it is more common to see animals living in the streets than in others. And in Sweden, it can be rare to find an abandoned animal fending for itself on the streets. So when this woman found a tiny kitten all on its own, she was shocked and instantly took it home. But she couldn't have expected what would happen next. The story took place in a small town in Sweden back in 2018. A woman called Lindstein was going about her daily business when something unexpected happened that would change her life. She decided to go for a walk in the sunshine to enjoy the beautiful day that had started. Lindstein began walking her usual route through some grasslands surrounding her home. The walk was quiet, peaceful, and calm, something that she was very content about. But that's when something very strange happened. Lindstein began to hear a tiny little meow coming from somewhere in the grass. Confused and a tad suspicious about what she might find, Lindstein began to search through the grass, following the sound of the meows whenever she could hear them. Eventually, the woman found a tiny kitten hidden amongst the grass. She was shocked at the discovery, as she had never found an abandoned animal before. Lindstein looked around, searching for the young feline's owner, but she couldn't see anyone, and no one seemed to be searching for a missing cat. The feline itself was covered in dirt and looked a bit scruffy, indicating it had possibly been on its own outside for a while. There was no sign of a mama cat anywhere, only this little fur ball in front of Lindstein. Being an animal lover, Lindstein knew she couldn't leave the kitten alone in the middle of the grass. It was too young to fend for itself, and the kind-hearted woman couldn't bear the thought of something happening to the adorable little fluff ball. So, despite having two cats of her own to look after back at home, Lindstein decided to scoop the kitten up and take it home with her. The kitten, who was white all over except for a few patches of ginger here and there, was one of the prettiest felines that the woman had ever seen. She decided to name it Lotus. At first, the little kitten seemed to look like an average house cat. After giving the animal a bath and ensuring it didn't need any medical treatment, Lindstein gave the little animal some food, which the kitten ate in a hurry. It had clearly been on its own for a while to be this hungry. Lindstein's other kitties were a bit unsure about the new arrival to begin with. Still, they soon came around and began to warm up to their new little brother, which Lindstein was incredibly happy about. But as the weeks went by and Lotus began to grow, Lindstein noticed something very strange about the not-so-little feline. The cat seemed to grow non-stop, with no indication that he would ever stop. He would soon be bigger than her other kitties, who were full-grown cats. Lindstein began to worry about the rate at which Lotus was growing, and she decided to take him to the vet to make sure that everything was okay. She wasn't sure if it was just the cat's breed that made him grow, seemingly out of control, or if it was a possible medical emergency, such as a cyst causing Lotus to get bigger. She brought him to see the vet, who would have very interesting information to give Lindstein after the checkup. To begin with, though the vet decided to give Lotus some x-rays just to ensure there was nothing wrong with the cat internally. At this point, the vet suspected what could be the cause of the animal's growth, but he wanted to make sure that everything was okay health-wise before he said anything to the worried cat's owner. Finally, after all the x-rays and tests were done, the vet explained to Lindstein what he had discovered. He revealed that there wasn't anything physically wrong with the feline, and that he was growing so large because of its breed. It turned out that Lotus was actually a Maine Coon, due to its majestic size and sociable nature. Maine Coons are known as the gentle giants of the domestic cat world, with distinctive long fur that frames their expressive face like a lion's mane. These felines have a unique mythical quality, making them a favorite among cat lovers worldwide. Ancestors of the Maine Coon were European, and the breed closely resembles the Norwegian forest cat. Despite their large size, these cats are not known to be aggressive, though a personality trait that sets them apart from their ancestor, the Norwegian forest cat. Lindstein was shocked when she heard the vet's news. She couldn't believe that she had found this kitten sitting in the grasslands around her home, especially when these cats can be sold for over $1,000 each. Amazed by the situation, Lynchstein took Lotus back home, where she continued to care for the kitten and love him with everything she had. The cat might haven't been abandoned or left on his own if people thought that he was a Norwegian forest cat, and therefore fit to be left in the wild as it would be its natural habitat. Thankfully though, Lynchstein was more than happy to save the little kitty. As the weeks went by and Lotus kept on steadily growing, Lynchstein couldn't believe just how big he was getting and how his looks were starting to fully come in. Many people think he looks like a mini lynx, Lotus's mom told Dodo. Sometimes others think that he looks like a little lion. They wouldn't be far off the mark either, as Maine Coons can grow to weigh over 30 pounds, 12.6 kilograms, and can stretch out to reach a whopping 100 centimeters long. Not long after rescuing the gorgeous kitty, Lynchstein decided to set up an Instagram account for him so everyone else could see just how beautiful he was. And it's still going strong 4 years later. Lotus is now roughly 4 years old and weighs in at a hefty 22 pounds, 10 kilograms on the scale, and when he stretches out to his full length, he can take up the whole sofa from arm to arm. Surprisingly, this massive moggy is only seen as a little larger than average, considering he's well under 30 pounds. Due to Lotus's large size, his mom has had to make a few adjustments at home, mainly to his bathroom. Instead of a regular cat litter pan, Lotus uses an extra-large plastic storage bin to do his business. And when Lotus has to ride in Lynchstein's car, he has to ride around in a large dog crate instead of a cat carrier, as he is simply too big. Unlike many cats who usually prefer their freedom and to roam around at their own discretion, Lotus loves putting on a cat harness and going on walks with his human. Both humans and dogs usually react when they first see him, Lynchstein said. Many think at first that he is a dog. Luckily, he is very friendly with everyone. Since she lives in Sweden, Lotus gets to visit so many beautiful places with his family, from going on hikes to simply relaxing in the grassy backyard. The feline seems to love exploring and spending time outside. His Instagram account has over 300,000 followers and is still growing. There are plenty of photos of him, either hanging out with his family, relaxing in whatever comfy spot he can find, or out and about on one of his adventures. Lynchstein is definitely one fortunate person to have found Lotus, and she doesn't regret a single second of it. What a remarkable story. I can only imagine what it would be like to own such a special cat. What would you do if your pet cat kept growing and found out it was, in fact, a huge cat breed? Would you still keep it? Let us know in the comments below.